So I just demo reviewed the best utility player in the world, and you can probably tell by the jersey I'm wearing that he's on Team Vitality. Today, we're going to be demo reviewing apEX. So HLTV recently updated their stats page to include a little bit more information. When you first look at apEX's profile, nothing looks too special. However, when you scroll down, you can take a look at these more in-depth skills that most pro players possess. However, this isn't always the most accurate representation of their skill, where, for example, apEX has a 0 out of 100 on sniping because he has ZywOo on his team and he never uses the op. So naturally, all of this is going to be very low. But what I'm more interested in is the utility side of things. And out of all tier 1 professional players, apEX is the highest rated utility player that there is. And also, he's on the #1 team in the world and the team that most recently won one of the most prestigious events in the world. So who better to take a look at and do a demo review than this man right here? Now, before we jump right into the demo, I want to thank today's sponsor, SkinsMonkey. So SkinsMonkey is an automated CS2 trading site that provides an instant way for you to get new skins. All you have to do is select your old skins that you don't want anymore and then pick out some fresh ones to trade for. It's as easy as that. And right now you could get a free $5 if you use code TACTICS on the site. And finally, you could get up to a 35% deposit bonus when using my code. So thanks again to SkinsMonkey for sponsoring this video. Links in the description. All right, so let's go ahead and get started here with the first round, which is pistol round of G2 versus Vitality. So early on here, let's go ahead and take a look at what's going on. So ZywOo has actually made his way up through apps and has cleared out all of this region of the map. He has not spotted Nexa here, but with this information, this is going to indicate to Flames and apEX that, hey, there's no one really pressuring A right now. So they're going to go ahead and start rotating over here towards B. Now, in the meantime, G2 is already ready to go ahead and execute their pistol round tactic, which is probably going to be a nice little B pop. So in the meantime, let's take a look at how apEX is going to respond to being a little bit late to this hit. So he's running around through CT, and just about now the utility is starting to fly. So the first thing apEX does is he's going to go ahead and smoke off the T's here, hopefully buying a little bit of time for Mezzy and giving him some better angles. Now, at the exact same time, he's going to go up here and crouch towards the boost, and he's going to throw a nice little HE right here on top of the T's as they're crossing. This is going to do huge damage to both Nico and m0NESY, doing, I guess, combined up to 60-70 damage to them. Great HE right off the jump. And at the exact same time, he's now trying to boost Flames up on top of this position, although they're kind of having a hard time here. I don't know what's going on. If Flames got up there a little earlier, maybe things would have gone a little bit better, but they get decent damage off here into this 4 versus 4. So now that the boost isn't going to happen here, apEX actually gets hit by maybe Spinks back on the backline. Yeah, I think Spinks accidentally shot apEX in the head, but hey, it's all good. So now we've got this 4 versus 4. apEX has 1 flash to work with, and yeah, they have a decent setup here, but one thing they haven't really accounted for is the potential for a lurk from Nexa. So apEX is wanting to use this flash. He's wanting to flash his teammates on over, but Nexa is going to pick him up here, and we're in a much more favorable position here on the side of G2. So moving forward, I wanted to skip the second round. We're now on to the third. Not a whole lot happened. They just ecoed and they ended up saving. So now apEX is rocking a saved MAC-10, and he's going to end up buying a full utility belt apart from an incendiary grenade. So let's take a look at how they approach this situation. Flames, his B partner, has no utility and just a 5-7, so they're going to be pretty passive with their utility. They're not going to immediately throw it. They're just kind of playing more reactionary in this situation, and Nico's going to end up mollying out top car, which is going to hit Flames, so naturally apEX responds with a nice little HE. He likes to throw these kind of towards the center here in between these two positions, in between these two cubbies, and that's going to do about 42 damage to Nico, so a fantastic HE grenade right there to soften up those targets. So right after apEX ends up throwing that HE, he's actually going to rotate over onto site, and he's going to end up going along this pillar and lining up a fantastic flash for Banana by just aiming right here at this position along the bar. Now, this is pretty much your perfect Banana flash for someone peeking in a situation like Flames, and notice how he's behind the smoke right now. He's going to wait for this thing to fully clear out, and we'll just watch from Flames POV because we know exactly what apEX is going to do. He's just going to left click that thing, and once Flames says, hey, I'm ready, flash for me, apEX is going to throw it, and he's got 2 full blind players right here in this position. I mean, what can they even do? Very easy kill on the Nico. m0NESY on 30 health does get away, but ZywOo is set up in this position holding for it. A nice little bait and switch, 2 frags and 2 very awesome flash assists for apEX here. You can't ask for anything better than that on a 4-spy round that they're going to eventually win. So that brings us on to the next round, which ends up being the first full buy versus full buy situation. One thing I want you to pay attention to is the fact that Spinks, who is the A site rotator, is over here on B early, and he's just dumping all of his utility early on to his teammates here so that they have more at their disposal for banana control. All right, so let's go ahead and skip forward onto the next round. We've got apEX on a full buy yet again, full belt of utility, and G2 are on sort of a eco/force. They have a hero rifle on Monacy, but for the most part, they're just on pistols. Now, one thing that I want you to take note of, Flames is generally the one just throwing that early banana control utility, and it's kind of freeing apEX up to do some crazy stuff. For example, he's going to run up to half wall here, and he's actually going to jump spot. Notice how he sees Monacy here, and so what's he gonna do? He's gonna pull out an HE, bank it off the side, do a solid amount of damage onto him, which forces him forward, and he just drills him, right? So awesome play. That's something that most of the time you'll see players just kind of guessing where the enemy are and just throwing their early HEs that way. You can go for a jump spot and throw it right at them, which is sometimes risky, but in this case, it really paid off. So at the same time after that, I think he's starting to realize that, oh, maybe they're on pistols. They may have killed the hero rifle, right? So he's getting very aggressive here. They end up blowing that smoke. apEX throws an AK back. He's, you know, things are getting, they're very confident. They're very crazy. A lot of spamming going on here. And apEX is going to smoke off bottom banana, and he's wanting to take full control of this, right? So he brings down another player. They're just very aggressively taking control of this bomb, taking charge in banana, and right now they're in a 4-on-1, very easy way to deal with that eco, and, you know, a third kill right through the smoke. All right, so that brings us on to the next round, which is another sort of full buy. I notice, you know, there's a Tech 9 on Nexa, but for the most part, it's 4 rifles on the side of G2. So, you know, you're going to see your early round utility exchange, nothing too far out of the ordinary. apEX is going to throw an HE down banana, but overall, nothing too crazy. They do still have that utility pile that Spinks dropped, so apEX is going to kind of organize that, get it set up the way he wants, but overall, a pretty standard early round opening from the side of Vitality. So once apEX starts to feel a little bit of pressure over here from Car, he does get flashed. He decides, you know what, let's just go ahead and use one of these smokes here to delay them. He's going to move over towards Car and, you know, just do a little spam and keep his presence known over here on the site. Maybe make it feel like there are 3 players over on this bomb site, right? He's going to do some SAM from there. He's just going to head right back on over to CT Cross and just kind of hold and delay. At this point, Flames takes the opportunity to move across the smoke. apEX is going to re-smoke it, and he's just going to boost him up on top of this position here, right? He's still got plenty of utility at his disposal, and at this point, he's probably thinking, you know what? They're probably moving up towards top Car. This would be a great time to throw an HE grenade, which is what he's going to do. And this thing is going to do some massive damage onto Hooksy here for about 50. Huge HE, well timed from apEX. He knows, you know, that is probably the point that they're going to be moving up to this location. So another fantastic HE from apEX. He can't stop hitting these absolute dimes every time he throws them. So at this point, he starts to hear some of the utility coming in, so he's going to molly them off to delay. One more thing to keep in mind is the fact that since he's boosted Flames up onto this position, he's able to tell what type of boost smoke they're throwing, and for some crazy reason, pros continuously are throwing this bad version of the boost smoke that lands on the far side back here. Flames recognizes this and is actually going to move up in front of it where he has full visibility. So he's calmed that to apEX, so what he's going to end up doing here is he's just going to throw a nice little flash for himself at the right timing once he's ready. So he realizes that they're probably going to be scaling up in front of this smoke. They're going to be moving up, you know, past once that Molotov dissipates. And of course, he's going to throw this. He just does a nice little right-click jump throw with a flash over the coffin, right? And that is going to absolutely roast all of these players out here. It also kind of catches Flames, but that's fine. I do think, yeah, it looks like he turned away from it, no problem. And so apEX is going to peek off of this and end up getting a kill, dinking Nico as well through one of those players. So the reason he's going for such an aggressive play here is because he realizes they are not going to clear Flames, and it's going to give Flames a huge opportunity to get a multi-frag, which he absolutely delivers on, getting 2 out of those 3 players. He almost gets spammed down by Hunter, but he makes it no problem. Easy 3K for Flames. So in the next round, apEX is going to start us off with another 3B setup, and he's going to throw the Fallen Flashes so that Spinks and Flames can get extremely aggressive. The Fallen Flash, you can throw them however you want. apEX is just left-clicking at the bottom right of this chimney. Nothing too crazy, but he is throwing this flash. One thing to keep in mind that Nico, knowing the timing of when those types of flashes are typically going to come in, is going to immediately tuck into this cubby right as that flash is being thrown, so that once it pops, he peeks behind the flash, right, to catch Flames off guard, getting a kill. Very high-level play from Nico. And in this situation, Spinks is actually able to just spam Nico down here. A very sloppy battle, but he is able to come out on top. So by this point, apEX has probably already figured out that, hey, this is probably a save round if Nico is on a Tech 9. So he's just going to throw a nice little HE grenade deep on Banana here, anticipating there's a lot more players here with Tech 9s. And he's absolutely right. He's going to do a massive amount of damage onto Hunter and Monacy yet again. So another just great HE throw. And so right after that, apEX is going to get aggressive. He's saying, I'm going to do some spamming. I'm going to do some damage. So spams a little bit, spots out Hooksy, brings him down, then transfers over to Monacy just in the middle of the smoke. Completely random, but wow, what a kill. What a two-piece right there to just really shut down that eco rush. So now at this point, he's actually going to reposition a little bit further back here. He's going to get all the way back behind this wall, taking an extremely long-ranged angle, because if he's expecting to be facing Tech 9s or Deagles, this is a much better position if they decide to dry peek in towards CT than playing much closer, right? He's got that A1S, he's going to have an advantage in that duel. Now, in this situation, you can probably see over there that Nexa does have a smoke grenade and is very likely to use it. So let's see how apEX responds when he's smoked off from this position. He's going to have to be very quick, very decisive, right? That smoke comes in, so immediately he's pulled out an incendiary grenade and he's going to throw it to try to disrupt their push. Now, he doesn't get it quite far enough and it gets extinguished. So now we're kind of in a little bit of a dangerous situation, right? If they bring down Spinx, well, they have, you know, a 2 versus 3 with the bomb sites. That's pretty tough, right? So Spinx is not going to do anything. He's not going to force his hand. He's going to hide in the smoke. He's throwing a defensive smoke. He's going to hang out in there and not do anything too crazy. Now, he's going to end up waiting for apEX, who's going to run all the way over here, and he's going to try to throw a flash up for Spinx. He does get shot at by Hunter, so now they have both been spotted. That flash ends up, it doesn't blind Nexa. He turns away and he's able to pick up this frag, but apEX knows, hey, this is when I need to peek. And of course, he does, brings down Nexa, and now he's got a very easy kill onto Hunter, who peeks right into his crosshair. So another insane round from apEX here on Banana. So moving on to the next round, this is kind of in the middle here. They've lost 2 players over towards A, so apEX was actually rotating towards that A site. But suddenly he realizes, you know what, they could be rotating B. And this is a play you only go for if you're really, really feeling it, right? So he realizes, uh-oh, they're actually executing B. They're throwing smokes, they're throwing utility. So he throws a smoke up front, then a molly to disrupt them, to kind of cut off these players, right? Now they do still push through it, but this has really disrupted this hit, right? Because these 2 players can't really trade Hooksy very effectively. So apEX comes through here and is just going to absolutely maul Nico, who's running through the smoke, and he almost is able to transfer onto Hooksy, which is a crazy play to even go for. But why did he go for that, right? So what that's done is it's really slowed down this fight. It's kind of evened things out. And if you take a look here, Flames is actually in a position to be able to do some damage. He's going to spam onto that bomb, and he actually finds Monacy here, making this a 2 versus 2 situation. Now, unfortunately for them, he is going to eventually be brought down by Hooksy on the spam. Lots of smoke fighting, and now we've got ZywOo in a 1 versus 2 situation, and it is ZywOo. He's juggling 2 HE grenades to be able to work with, but unfortunately for him, he's not going to expect Hunter moved all the way up into this tree position, and he's brought down. So now moving forward into the next round, we've got another full buy versus full buy. And in this situation, you're just going to see apEX just managing his utility, just throwing a little bit to keep them off of car, making it costly. Right now, you can see he's just kind of playing around with this big stockpile of utility. And he and Flames actually decide, hey, you know what? Let's kind of peek towards car. Let's take car control. They've smoked it off. So, of course, they're just going to kind of double peek into here, and they get this trade onto Nico. So at this point, you know, they go 1 for 1, but at least apEX is able to take full car control as a part of this. And they have this smoke down. So he's thinking, you know what? They could actually be behind the smoke. So he throws a little HE to do any additional damage that he may be able to find. So he ends up moving back towards CT, and he's just going to end up throwing a nice little smoke grenade here just to delay them a little bit longer. Now, if you'll notice, G2 off the back of this are actually moving up and taking car control. So apEX is just going to play kind of close in front of the smoke. If they decide to come through it, he's going to be right in their face. So as he hears utility coming, he's actually going to drop another smoke down here, but it's almost spammed all the way down. But notice how he doesn't panic here. He's thriving in this chaos. He actually pulls out an HE grenade, does a nice little right-click throw, and does a huge amount of damage onto Hunter and even some onto Hooksy. So a great HE thrown in the middle of all of that chaos. Spinx brings down Hooksy. apEX throws a little flash and is going to go for a nice little peek and is able to kill Nexa. So crazy amounts of kills and just damage outputted here, even though it's just pure chaos and close quarter combat with 11 HP. So this next round is an example where he's just based off the information he's getting from his team, he ends up leaving Flames here alone to be the solo anchor. He's going to throw his smoke and he's just going to end up rotating all the way over onto this A site. We'll skip forward a little bit, but what he ends up doing is allowing Spinks to go get set up on A site, and he's just going to kind of play over here towards Arches and re-smoke it here in just a moment. Doesn't throw it exactly how he wants to, but that's absolutely fine. He's going to kind of slip into this cubby and just wait for some chaos to erupt over here on the A site. So he's planning on timing out and peeking through the smoke. And unfortunately for Nexa, the second he turns away, apEX just walks right through and gets a free frag. That's just a little bit of luck for apEX, unfortunate for Nexa, but overall, that's just ways that you can help out your A defense if you're confident enough in your B anchor to rotate early. So I've actually skipped the 11th round. We're now on the 12th and final round of this half, but nothing really happened. It was just a full eco round on the 11th, so I wanted to skip to this. So if you'll notice here, apEX has 3 players positioned over here for an early 3-man B opening, and he's just going to throw the Fallen Flash, and the difference here, instead of it being Spinks, it is ZywOo over on this side of the map to help out. So essentially what's going to happen here is ZywOo's going to throw an Incendiary, and he's going to wait for apEX to throw this Flash, which he's already thrown, so ZywOo's going to jump up, peek off the timing of it, and he's not going to see anything. He's going to try to inch forward up, but he accidentally falls. So ZywOo being ZywOo, he jumps up and tries to go for something absolutely ridiculous, but he ends up getting picked by HooXi, which I think G2 is very pleased with that exchange of kills going their way, taking out ZywOo from HooXi. So at the same time, let's see how they end up going about responding to this situation. So apEX is going to immediately throw an HE down there. He's going to go pick up another one of those HEs from that pile and throw a second HE. Now, unfortunately, he doesn't really do much damage to anyone down here, although if anyone was around, that definitely would have had a huge effect. But that's just something, you know, the reason that he is the highest rated utility player is because they're doing things like this. apEX is throwing 2, sometimes 3 HE grenades in a round, like you're going to see here in a moment. So now he's going to go back and he's going to throw this same perfect flash to allow Mr. Flames to peek up here. He has a full blind player. Nico peeks late after that. HooXi got absolutely buried by that flashbang, so he's not able to really assist here. So it was basically a free peek here from Flames. And he's able to do a ton of damage. Nico even does a little extra, dinking HooXi in the back here. And even though Flames is dead, he's done so much damage here. It really sets apEX up well to be able to do some extra damage. Who throws an HE grenade in the middle of that, which we didn't see, his 3rd HE grenade of the round, getting a kill onto Nico. Now notice how HooXi is very low. He throws this Incendiary. HooXi's like, no way, man. I'm not messing with that. And apEX is just going to play up here. He makes a sound cue, which now they know he's up there. And apEX is apEX. He's going for a peek. He's feeling like, hey, you know what? I want to do some damage. Unfortunately, he gets brought down. So it's a 2 versus 4 situation here. Not looking so good for Vitality. It does look like we're very likely going to see a G2 victory in this round. They're actually moving over here towards A. They're just going to kind of wrap over towards lane here. Hunter brings down Spinks. We have a 1 versus 4 that Mezzi is not going to win. He does do a pretty good job of making it a little bit dangerous, but overall, round's over. Half's over. We have an 8-4 in the way of G2. And take a look at apEX's scoreline here. He has 327 utility damage, 11 enemies flash. He's on pace for 650 UD if he were to keep that same level up. Now, of course, he's not going to be playing banana CT on the other side. But again, that's a great half. There's a reason this man is the #1 rated utility player in the game right now. And you can definitely learn a lot from watching his demos. So I definitely recommend hopping on HLTV, watching some demos, and seeing what you can learn from this man yourself. So hopefully you guys enjoyed this type of content. I wanted to do more demo review and just kind of more personable face cam content for you guys, because, you know, overall, there does come a point where we've covered so much utility that it's time to just kind of start watching some professional matches and learning a little bit more in that regard, and kind of building on what we've already learned on the channel so far. So anyways, guys, if you enjoyed this video, let me know down in the comments below. Like, comment, or subscribe if you really enjoyed this stuff, and I'll see you guys in the next one.